Oh boy. But then speaking of pizzazz on promos, ARG, the Powerhouse Hobbs, he speaks well. He's not totally confident being out there doing live in-ring promos. His eyes look around, dart around a bit. Again, I'm thinking they've had 4 years now. Can you imagine if he had had half of the push, as the kids say, or just half of the momentum put behind him as Jane Cargill or our little dog Pockets? He'd already be practiced at promos, and he'd already have a great track record behind him and major matches behind him. And instead, he's out there by himself now. He went back home and got the book of Hobbs because he didn't want or need help from anybody else. And the next chapter he's going to write is titled Redemption. And how do I redeem myself after losing the title, after losing the Owen Hart tournament? So he goes down about all the fucking things that he's lost and been beaten lately. How do I redeem myself? I need to call out the Redeemer. Miro, come on out. Well, now he didn't say he wanted to fight him, right? He just said he needed to call him out. But when Miro comes out, Solo and Comarato, without a go-go, jump Miro and beat him up and roll him in the ring, but Miro comes back on the Stooges, Solo and Comarato, and dispatches them, and then Hobbs hits a spine buster on Miro and puts his book on Miro's chest. So is Hobbs the right kind of heel, that it is the right psychology where he says he doesn't need any help or want any help, and then in the same segment he accepts help? Or is Hobbs the kind of guy that should be palling around with fucking Solo and Comarato, much less QT to begin with? Or should he be out there on his own?
This was a wonderful combination of two of the worst things about Powerhouse Hobbs, which are the QT faction and that old Book of Hobbs gimmick that everyone had forgotten about because it wasn't good. And they brought those both together to challenge Miro and drag him into this fucking abyss of QT and Solo and whoever the blonde woman was. The idea of Hobbs and Miro was intriguing. And then they threw in, all the people that are like the D-list of the version of the D-list Jarrett crew. It's just awful. And
there's always another letter down you can go. When you think you're on the B team, you might really be on the C squad. When you think you're on the C team, you might really be on the D list.
The booking of Hobbs has been awful for a while. Why double down on any of this?
That's why I'm thinking the whoever the brains are that are in charge of the majority of this program and the flavor of it obviously realize that QT is an anchor around his neck and these other people are death with him. But we've heard that Tony...
QT's an anchor around Hobbs's neck or the booker of this show's neck?
No, QT is an anchor around Hobbs's neck.
Okay.
Many of the people I'm about to say many of the people around QT are anchors around everybody's neck. But the owner of the company, I guess, thinks QT is cute, like he likes to dress up like Pockets on Halloween, and he puts him in the creative meetings. So somehow, just because even if you get something out of QT in the creative meetings, that doesn't mean he's an on-camera personality. The guy that, that does brain surgery on people may not be able to play center fielder for the fucking Yankees. That doesn't mean he has goddamn no talent. Anyway,